Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Big Three, the podcast where we unpack the biggest stories, insights, and shifts happening in influencer marketing and the creator economy. I'm your host, Ceci Carloni, and today, as we kick off a new year, we're continuing our guest series. Joining us today is David Abbey, co-founder and CEO of Endlss, all-in-one influencer and affiliate platform built to help brands turn creator partnerships into measurable, predictable revenue. We wanted to speak with David because he's on a very important side of the creator economy. The builders focus on making creator marketing work at scale. David has spent more than a decade building at the intersection of commerce, technology, and creator infrastructure. Before Endlss, he launched and scaled platforms used globally, raised venture capital, and worked closely with brands and creators to understand where existing influencer systems start to break once teams try to scale. Today, we're going to talk about his journey into the creator economy, why he felt the need to build Endlss, what he's learned from operating in the space, and where he thinks creator marketing is heading as we move into 2026. David, it's nice having you. Nice to see you again. Welcome to the Big Three. How's everything going today?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm having an absolutely fantastic morning. I've been looking forward to this. Since
Awesome.
back to work after the holiday.
I see you. I see you have your cup of coffee ready too.
Always, yes. It's the first cup of the morning. So
Yeah. Well, I have my mate here ready as well. As everyone knows, I'm in Argentina, so the mate is something that is always with me. David, before we kick things off more officially, we're just a couple of weeks into a new year. How's everything? How's 2026 kicking off for you so far? What's been top of mind as you start the year?
personally, just health. Professional,
Okay.
uh, we've been on a consistent growth run for the latter half of last year, and Endless launched right in March, and it's just been significant growth trajectory for us. So we are getting amazing brands and just the most incredible feedback in what is missing in the market. And that's what gets me super excited, right? We've always been
No.
a company where we build what the customers are actually asking for. And with my previous company that we scaled globally, it was all about listening to what the customers actually need and finding a really cool solution for that. And that's what this year's like. That's what's really exciting.
It's going to be a fun year ahead. I'm excited to see what's next. David, before we get into the details, I'd love to understand. I think the most important thing to do is setting up the tone of the conversation. So I would love to understand how you personally think about the creator economy today. What's your thesis on where it is right now?
Where I think the creator economy is today, I think last year, the creator economy moved from influencer marketing to marketing. I think there was this really unique transition where everyone's like, oh, do you do influencer marketing? Oh, 66% of brands do influencer marketing. Where last year it just became marketing. It's like this is part of your program, no matter what you're doing. We got inbound requests from the most unique types of businesses being like, and outliers in terms of like who would do creator marketing. And they're like, no, this is part of marketing now. We have to be involved.
Exactly. I think
And
that's the key difference, right? It used to get like a portion of the budget. Now it's getting the main portion or the
yep.
whole budget.
And then this year, I think is where it really matures and like last year, if it's like, hey, I'm now marketing. This year, I see it really maturing. And I think the systems are really going to harden and the consumerism as a whole has completely and utterly adopted it. Now it's where people shop first. And I think it's going to set a really cool tone for what's to come. And one of the trends that I've been seeing and following, obviously very closely, specifically with the types of brands that I work with, which are obviously D2C and retail brands, but is the rise of the micro and the nano. Every brand I talk
Okay.
to is really excited about the micros and the nanos, sub 50, sub 100, whatever that might be. I'm really excited to see how they shine
Yeah.
this year as more and more brands are pouring into it.
Yeah. David, I'm curious about what's your thesis on why that's the case? I mean, why nano and micro are rising?
Because consumers are wise. They know when a person with 3 million followers is talking about a t-shirt, they got paid $5,000 and they're
Yeah.
Toyota commercial on TV. The nanos, the micros, like the mini creators, they are more aligned with the brand potentially, right? And that's, alignment is such a key piece for a brand to build a successful program, but also the connection between a smaller audience and the actual creator is far stronger than myself and someone who's got
Yeah.
the
I think, yeah. And I think that a lot of the industry is still talking about, influence in terms of reach and and awareness, sorry. So do you think we're finally starting to see a shift towards, revenue and outcomes, or is the industry still not there yet?
I mean, I would say yes. I don't work a lot in big ticket paid campaigns. So I don't know if I have the credibility to say, no, those don't work. But what I spend all day, every day in is revenue, ROI, return on investments, and the cost of goods. Because you run a really efficient gifting campaign, you need to know what you're getting back. And if you're a small
Yeah.
business, you're doing, say, less than 50 million in revenue, your marketing spend, while you might not be paying someone $10,000 a post, you still have a cost of goods going out the door. And those metrics have to match up. And if you can really pull all those levers to get the efficiency going, so you're not paying people, you're giving away a moderate discount and commission, your cost of goods are decent in terms of your gifting strategy, and you're getting that return. Anyone who's running a business, it's a business. You can't just give stuff away and hope that you get tons of engagement, because if that doesn't convert to revenue, then you're not going to be a business for very long. And
Yeah.
that's the sweet spot of running a really great, efficient program and driving revenue into your business.
David, let's take a step back. I would love to go back to you, the founder, and discuss why Endless exists. So before Endless, what were you personally seeing in the market that made you feel there was a real gap or opportunity maybe worth building around?
A brilliant question. So before Endless, we had built a product called Trend, and our thesis, right? This was 2022 ish. We were watching everything that was happening in the marketplace. We're watching, discount codes and affiliate links. And to this day, I still don't think they give people a great buying experience. The idea behind Trend was that the creator could build up a social marketplace or a social storefront, and their audience could purchase multiple products from multiple brands in a single transaction directly in the feed, which has never successfully been done. It's like, hey, I'm following David. He's working out. He's got the Reebok trainers and the 10,000 shorts, and he's got the, human improvement protein. I want all of that. How do I do that in one transaction instead of bouncing all over the internet, multiple links, multiple codes, multiple transactions, all that stuff.
And
So
attribution becomes a nightmare.
yeah, so that was the whole thing is we built Trend that solved the attribution problem. The consumer could have purchased all three of those products from three different brands and had them drop shipped directly to the door. The consumer gets a beautiful buying experience. The creator gets attribution for three sales in one, and the brands capture the customer data and the new customer.
Yeah.
That was the objective, and that was the thesis. We built it, we brought it to market, we tested it with hundreds and hundreds of brands. Brands love the idea of that sales acquisition because there's an opportunity for brand A to piggyback on brand B. Be like, came here for the Reebok shoes, but I really like those shorts. Capture those sales in one. But the setting up of the storefront required creators to curate their own store and bundle products. And, it was a little bit more effort than of course we would have liked. And it just didn't get adopted. There was another company, Flagship, that did a similar product at the same time, and they were venture backed as well. And they didn't get the market. They didn't hit it as well. And in our journey and talking to all these brands, they kept telling us what was actually missing. I don't want to pay $5,000 for this huge solution when I have, $10 million in revenue and I only have 50 creators. Gifting is my biggest challenge and I'm trying to solve that. And commissions, right now I'm using spreadsheets and PayPal. And as the creators didn't adopt Trend as we built it, we were just consistently listening to everything that the brands were saying. And then we basically it was late 2020. Yes, 20, somewhere in there. Started building out what Endless has become, and then launched Endless at the beginning of, I think it was maybe March 2025. We built the whole platform and then brought Endless to market and built in all those capabilities that all these brands that we have been talking to were said that were missing. And
Yeah.
that's how we came to Endless, was just listening to the market and seeing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a founder. I thought Trend was the coolest product ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was like, wow, this has never been done before. But unfortunately, like many founders, you build a product that you think is amazing. And some of the early market research says yes. But then when the rubber hit the road, the wheels weren't turning.
Yeah. But I think, and I remember we had the conversation back in, I think you launched Endless in March and we talked in May, I think. And I remember one of my questions were, what were like the key learnings from that you got from running Trend, and how did those inform what Endless was going to become, right?
Yeah, and almost the whole platform. There's very few things that lived on from Trend. I mean, the payments and commissions and attribution and the Shopify integrations and some infrastructure pieces, but from an outcome point of view, like what is this application going to do for my business and how is it going to help me solve my problems? Fundamentally different product.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious about the decisions that you had to make. That let me reframe it. Looking back at the early days of Endless, what were some of the key strategic decisions that made you shape how Endless operates today? Anything you got right early on or learned the hard way?
I think some of the early decisions we made was really wanting to understand who do we want to serve from a customer point of view. I
Yeah.
think that has shaped us to kind of hold true to the brand that we want to be. That one has kind of guided the product development, and where we really want to play in the marketplace, because there is so many great solutions out there for all different shapes and sizes of companies, all different shapes and sizes of strategies. But for us, it was all about challenger brands, emerging brands, founder-led businesses, and really building a product that says, hey, and Endless has an incredible free feature set where the whole platform is included in the free, because we know that if you can build a really great program, you will grow. And we've seen programs scale, and we have companies doing 100,000 a month in revenue. So our whole strategy was like, let's support the companies when they need the support the most and give them all the tools. And one of the strategies we did very early on was, we're not going to feature gate like, oh, the baby tier only has 3 features and you move to the middle tier.
No, that's annoying.
So we made that decision, like, if we're going to come in and support these emerging brands, and whether you have 3 creators, no creators, or 1,000, right? That's kind of our customer base. You get everything you need from day one to be successful. And then as you grow,
Right.
yes, the platform gets more expensive,
Yeah.
but still our direct competitors, we're still 50% of the price of them, because that has been our kind of core thesis since the beginning, is like, we're going to build exactly what our customers want. We're going to stay and play in the pool that we want to. And it's proved to be a really great strategy for us.
Okay, I think that's related to my next question. How do you think about Endless mission and promise within the creator economy today? When someone asks what Endless stands for, how do you describe it?
I always like to think there's less chaos.
Okay.
It is actually surprising to me how many brands we meet with that have a solution and they're still running manual processes all over the place. We recently migrated a brand over from a competitor. They had upwards of 1,000 people. Migration was a consideration there. They obviously didn't want any friction. They didn't want any downtime, any lost revenue. Completely seamless migration, and all of their messaging was 100% manual. All their gifting was 100% manual, and their payments were done in an export and then an upload into PayPal and then paid. Now, if you have 10 creators, that is not a consideration or a concern at all. That's 20 minutes worth of work. But if you have 500 or 1,000, those are it, and that's where it breaks. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
I think I might be jumping ahead of myself here, but you mentioned the brands, so I'm just curious about the conversations you have with the brands when they come to you. What are they coming from? For what do they need? How is it any different? What they think they need versus what they actually need?
I would cut. There's three very specific buckets there. One
Okay.
is, don't know. I don't have a program. I'm totally starting new, and that bucket right there, you're really going to come in and use 2 of our features. You can use our Discover Suite, which is, we've got the database of 250 million creators. You can slice and dice this database any which way you want and
Okay.
go for it. I met a founder named Jason, and he's got a really cool app called Wino. And I travel with a group of my friends. Coincidentally, we call ourselves the Winos. Now, he's looking for influencer marketers, but he doesn't have a Shopify store. So he's not doing commissions and discounts. He's not doing attribution. He needs to come in and search for wine influencers and try to create a relationship with them. And then as he uses the database and searches, he could then do a paid partnership with them, pay you $500 for a video. That is a very specific use case that we see quite a lot, is just coming in and using our search capabilities. Because again, you can't find another tool as cost efficient as ours to come and find influencers and view all their performance reports. So that's kind of bucket A, like I want to get going. Bucket B is I got 25 to 30 people. I need a little bit more meat on the bone. I need obviously I want to migrate people over. I want to discover people. I need the application form on my website. I want to get a gifting program going. And then the third bucket is I'm on a platform. I've got a ton of manual processes. I want to migrate over. So we have built an incredible migration flow. And then we're now putting people in tiers, and then we can invite people and add them to tiers, and we can automatically gift and automatically communicate. And it makes managing 500 people dead simple in one interface. And
chaotic, as you mentioned before. Less
yeah,
chaos.
less chaos. That's where the market has completely and utterly pulled us. Like I didn't, wake up last
Okay.
March, like I'm going to build basically like an ambassador OS. This is what I want to do. We have just been listening to brands and listening and listening and listening. And it's like, hey, okay, we want tiers. Hey, within our tiers, we want to be able to do this. Okay, we want to be able to, we have 100 creators. I want to invite them all to tier A, and I want to see the leaderboards, and I want to take my 5 best people, and I want to move them into tier B. But just doing it in just such a simple, intuitive way is where we've really seen things set us apart from what we do.
Yeah. David, are we missing a bucket? Or you mentioned the 3 already?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Are we missing a bucket? You said that they come to you for you can put
Oh, yeah,
things
no.
in.
But there was the net new, kind of slowly growing, and then the big ones.
Okay.
Three, three folks. And then there's the bucket that we don't do. The people that come to us and say, we're looking for a marketplace of creators. I'm like, that's not what we do.
I think that's one of the most important things that you as a founder need to decide intentionally what you're not going to do, right?
Yeah, and there's so many great apps. There's so many great agencies. It's like, hey, take your creator brief, throw in cool piranhas, have better. That's not our product. So that would be the fourth bucket, and that comes up every now and again as well.
Yeah. David, I want to go back to something that you mentioned before, how creator marketing tends to break down once teams try to scale. You mentioned that a minute ago. I'm curious about, from your experience working with brands, where exactly does it break? At what point?
The things that I hear about most often is probably in the communication becomes a really challenging one. If you're just trying to use DMs and inbox, it can get a little messy. They're almost like certain workflows. Like if you're trying to manage, say you just have a solution that's pretty lightweight, it's got a referral link or a code solution, and you're trying to manage a large group of people, and you're manually trying to manage tiers. My affiliates, my, VIPs, my super VIPs. If you don't have a solution that allows you to do that, it's going to break almost instantaneously because you can't track the people. And if you're trying to run tabs in your inbox or, tags, that breaks. Gifting is one that comes up all the time.
Gifting.
It's a manual process for a surprisingly large number of brands. And that was something we've spent a lot of time solving. Is we work with a brand, they have hundreds and hundreds of people. And it was still very manual. It's like, hey, what do you want? I want this. Okay, what's your address? Okay, great. We'll send it. Oh, wait, I sent you the wrong address. Resend it. So we collapsed all of that and integrated the full thing directly into Shopify. So you can gift within kind of 3 clicks of a button. Payments is always a big one, only because if you're manually reconciling or moving, point A to point B, those are the things that break. But it's not necessarily just one of those pieces. It's the ones that compound. Like if you have 10 people, manually gifting is not an issue. Emailing people from your inbox is not an issue. Paying people is not an issue. It's when you go from 10 to 50 to 100.
Scaling.
And then all of a sudden you realize you're like, hey, out of my 100 people, 25 of them are like complete rock stars, but I can't really filter the data to find out how much they're doing. And then now I'm trying to scale, and then I want to restock those people every month because maybe it's a consumable good. Okay, now I've got it. And that's where it breaks. It doesn't look like it's a problem when you have 25 people, but it becomes a big
I'm
problem
trying
because,
to,
yeah,
yeah,
80/20 rule applies to influencers the same as it applies to every other business.
absolutely.
I would actually say it's a 90/10 rule.
David, we were talking about at the very beginning of the conversation how influencer marketing is now just marketing. So it's grown a lot. I'm curious, why do you think infrastructure is still such a missing piece in most creator strategies, even as budgets and expectations have grown?
Why would infrastructure be missing? There's digital native companies that have started in the last 3 to 5 years that have grown up in this space. They know exactly what it is. I would say the problem would stem from companies that are a little bit older that haven't kind of grown up and like, oh, we have to migrate over to this. We need to add this on. And like I mean, there's so many brands that I see every day that have just absolutely nailed their creator program. They're all 3 years old. Every single one of those
Mhm.
companies is 3 years old. Can't really look at a company like Nike or Sephora and be like, wow, their creator strategy is awesome because their creator strategy has a $20 million budget. It's those mid-tier brands that have been around for a long time, them trying to come into it and figure it out. And it's a change management process for those companies. And that's where the infrastructure piece would come into it. Is like, I don't know what I'm doing. How do we do it? How do we do it? And there's, a lot of unknowns in
Yeah,
that.
and more specifically, David, what do you think those high performing or successful programs consistently get right that others, tend to miss?
Alignment,
With
the creator and the brand. It's we need creators versus we need creators who are totally aligned with their brand. Their audience is going to resonate with us. I mean, fitness influencers are an easy one. Eric Hinman is a fantastic fitness influencer. Brian Matza, another fantastic fitness influencer. You take some of the products that those guys they represent. Ketone IQ is one that comes to mind. The alignment between the brand, what the brand stands for, and what those guys stands for is absolutely perfect. So therefore, they're going to be
okay,
wildly successful. Company comes in influencer marketing, not totally know what to do. Like, we need influencers. Okay, message everybody,
yeah,
give
yeah,
them products. Like, and that's the missing piece. And it's like kind of unfortunate. A lot of people who are getting started in influencer marketing think that it just happens. It's unfortunately it doesn't. It actually takes a bit of time because there's the two kind of approaches. One, spray and pray. I'm going to send 100 people a message and I'm going to send 100 people a gift and I hope they like it and I hope they post about it. And here's my UGC strategy.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm going to carefully select 100 people. I'm going to send them a message. I'm going to introduce myself and I'm going to introduce the brand. I'm going to ask them if they'd be interested to do a conversation about collaborating.
yeah.
And
Still, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and then, X amount of those people come back and it works really well. And I see both every day. And we did a one of our partners, the artist agency, they work a lot in retail and one of their clients is Nature's Twist, which is a Pepsi brand. They did the second strategy, very carefully selected people, very carefully communicated, very carefully reached out. Their response rates were insane. And in the month of the campaign, they increased revenue by 80% because they focused on getting the right people in the right alignment.
Exactly.
And then on the other side, I've seen people send out 200 messages and they're like, we're not getting responses. I'm like,
Yeah.
and
Um.
alignment.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a follow-up question there. Oh, you mentioned, sorry, it took me like a minute. You mentioned some brands still trying to figure out like the influencer marketing game. I thought we were getting better at that. I mean, I thought that brands were finally understanding that influencer marketing is not uh, an easy fix. It's not a one thing, a
One
one
size
of partnership. It's not a one size, but also it's not a one time thing, right? It's something that you build and then you have to work on. Are you seeing any progress in that regards?
It's getting better. I'm having less educational calls, more sales calls. That's what you mean?
Not quite there yet.
Yeah, but again, I'm always happy to, right? I'm a founder. I've started multiple businesses, and when I meet a founder who's like, I need to do something I've never done before, and I'm not sure, I'm always willing to try to at least guide them, and I will tell them
Yeah.
full stop right out of the gate, my product is for you or my product is not for you. And the good news is if my product is for you, it's actually free to use for you to figure out if it is for you. Like, is this strategy for you? And I'm always happy to help when and where I can because if they're successful, we all win. The hesitation a lot of founders and uh, companies that have a very small amount of staff is the cost. You go to some of our competitors, you're $500 to the gate immediately, and yeah, you get a 2 week trial, but you can't actually really trial an influencer product in 2 weeks because you're not going to be engaging with influencers, giving them smart links, or
That's what we were talking about. You need to give it time.
yeah, you're like, you can't do it in 2 weeks because you're like, "Hey, I just recruited 50 people. I don't like this software. I'm gonna turn it off." You're like, "Well, no,
Yeah.
that's impact your brand." So that really works well for people trying to figure it out.
David, shifting gears a bit, obviously wanted to talk about AI. There's a lot of noise, especially I think last year was like AI everywhere. In your view, tell us what does AI done right actually look like in the creator economy? Where do you see real value versus just buzz?
It's a little bit out of my daily scope in terms of where I think AI has the best application, but it would be in the individuals that are the creators, the ones who are creating
Okay.
unique content. We've all seen it. A trend kicks off, and all of a sudden, everybody we know is doing the exact same trend. There's not a lot of creativity there. Where I think AI could be really, really powerful for those who are in paid campaigns, again, not really my target brands or target creators, but if you're going out and you're responding to creative briefs and you're charging 5 or 10 or 20 or $30,000 a video, is the creative process, not the content creation, but the creative
Okay.
process, right? I get a brief for this is a United Colors of or United Benetton Colors, whatever that brand is, and they've got a brief and I want to make some content for it is actually using AI to go in and actually help me create something that's super unique and super interesting for my content significantly faster. And if I do this correctly, I might be able to then start doing a lot of CGC where it's not going on my feed. So I'm putting out 2 or 3 extra projects a month because I'm running the creative process faster. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some AI editing software out there that's going to be great. But where I don't think AI is going to have a long stay is actually in AI generated videos because we know instantaneously that they're fake.
It's
And
not.
yeah, it loses credibility and it loses trust. And if I was paying someone $5,000 for a video and they sent me back an AI video, that would be the end of that engagement. Now, if they sent me back a video that was super creative and new, unique, and not like every other video or trend that's going on,
Exactly.
wow, I really enjoy working with that person. That's where I see it having a really strong application because you still have to have the skill of filming and the skill of editing, and the really great creators put together really great content.
Absolutely. It shows.
Use the tools to accelerate the creative process and then do what you do best, which is your craft. And then if you have great videos and they're unique, your follower count grows, your contracts get bigger. There's a positive cycle that I think that could work there.
Yeah. And David, when it comes to creator programs specifically, is there any way, I mean, what's the right way you see brands using AI in the creative programs specifically, and where should the brands be careful not to, to automate that much?
Creative process writing, obviously, briefs easily. We have a tool internally that helps. We call it our AI Copilot. We help draft messages for the brands that help personalize them a little bit. Because if you are, reaching out to however 10 a day, 20 a day, 100 a month, whatever that might be, our solution there helps people draft messages. We are not
Okay.
autopilot. We are not spamming people. We do not automatically send. I have a stake in the ground on that one. I do not do that. That's where I think it could work really, really well. And then the only other place you'd use it is really for data analysis and actually seeing what is working. We have some plans later this year to bring in some AI for sentiment analysis on the comments on your posts within our. It's a forthcoming feature, basically our listen feeds, all the everyone who's tagged you is coming in, but then an AI is going to analyze the comments and the sentiment around it. So you can see, hey, I got 1 million people liked my brand or engaged with my brand. What are they saying about my brand? Like that's a unique way to use AI just to surface information faster.
Yeah. And David, maybe you already mentioned this, but if you want to add something here, where do you think that AI should never go? I mean, what parts of the ecosystem you think should always remain human?
Well, the content itself.
Yeah,
That's a hard one because the content creation AIs that I've played with are amazing, but they're not. I don't want an AI to replace me. Yeah, that's a hard question. I don't actually know where it shouldn't go with specific context to creator marketing. I know how individuals should not use AI. But yeah,
I think that for me that the human side of how do I say this? I mean, outreach, for example, we see. I talk to creators a lot, and sometimes they say I get hundreds of emails a day, and I can instantly see and tell which ones are crafted with the AI and which ones are, very personal and very thought crafted for specifically for them.
yep,
So that's one for me. I think you mentioned that actually
yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
personalization is an important one. And that's you such a great point is that messages are coming at creators of all sizes all day, every day. But yeah, and then the same thing just on the other side, I don't think creators should try to replace themselves in their content with AI. That is someplace it
exactly.
should
That's
go.
the biggest one.
For me personally,
For
as a follower of many people,
yeah,
that would turn me off almost instantaneously, unless the start of it was like, hey, I made this cool thing. I was playing around with AI. Check this out.
exactly.
Versus I don't actually want to get in front of the camera anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. David, I think we had a great conversation. I'm just curious. You slightly mentioned this at the very beginning of the conversation, but I'm curious about what are your top priorities for Endless this year? What's next for in the roadmap?
Yeah. Well, top priorities is obviously just helping brands meet their objectives. That's always our number one goal. For us in the next kind of 3 months, a lot of the stuff we're really focusing on is just bringing everything together for brands that have that kind of like 250 to 500 to 1,000 and more affiliates and ambassadors than
Yeah.
influencers that are creating content and doing creative briefs and that whole side of it. We're really focusing in on those brands that have large affiliate programs, ambassador programs. And we want to make it as easy and as simple for them to manage those programs to drive ROI back to the executive team. That's our focus. Later in the year, a lot of fun little additions. A lot of brands are asking for direct Instagram DMs. We have an unified inbox that does email and in-app chat between the brand and the creator in our app, where they want us to add in stuff like that. Like I said, sentiment analysis and then just better analytics. So we'll be implementing a lot of AI into our own dashboards so that you can actually start to make sense of where is the engagement coming from, where
Yeah.
is the conversion coming from, and then who's selling what, where, and bringing that better reporting and better analytics
Yeah.
will probably be a big chunk of it as well.
Keep us posted as always. David, to wrap us up, last question for you. What do you hope to see more of the creator economy this year? Sorry, more of in the creator economy this year. And what do you think the industry should finally leave behind?
I would love to see more natural and authentic videos.
Yeah.
The ones, I mean, when I'm, in my feed and I've got my scroll, the ones that you're like, oh, like it just, they're so fake and they're so canned that I just leave that behind, please. Let's go. The ones that are just, it's almost like they're scripted for bad actors would be the ones.
Mhm.
Like, can we leave? Let's leave that.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, yeah, 3 seconds tops, I'm out. And I mean, me personally, I love the humor ones. They get a little comedy break, and to me, that's what gets shared the most with me, and that's what I share the most. And if you think you're a creator and you want your content shared, no one's going to share a poorly scripted and poorly acted canned video versus like
Exactly.
make this engaging and funny and authentic and natural. So that's what I would love to see. Not to say that's going to happen. Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed always for
Yeah.
everyone.
David, this has been great. Thanks again for joining us. This is a wrap up for us for this big 3 this month. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back in a few weeks with more stories and insights. Talk soon. Have a great week, David.
Thank you very much.